Give it. I just gotta prepare the live. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Marketing Dude podcast. Welcome. Today, folks, we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit more about the source of basically all business, the key to all business. And let me turn that double feed off. Give me just get rid of that. All right, sorry, folks. Mr. Editors, go ahead and take that from the top. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Marketing Dude podcast. Today, we're going to switch gears a little bit and not talk so much on the video and the branding side. We're going to talk about what really makes this business go around. And you hear this all the time, folks. It's like, what is the key to succeeding in the real estate business? Well, it's really simple. It's not working with buyers. It's getting listings and leveraging those listings to work with a lot of buyers and eventually a team and all that fun stuff. So we brought on a 25-year vet in probably the most exciting market in the United States, only because his average sales price is $2 million. What a dick. But he's been doing this for 25 years. He's got a coaching company, and his claim to fame is really on brain hacks. And really, he's a listing agent type of guy. So we're going to go in and pick his brain today and sort of see how it works. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our guest, Mr. Christopher Stafford. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, good, Mike. Thanks so much for having me on.
You got it. Why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit about who you are, how you roll, and then let's get on into this.
Yeah, it sounds great. So I have been selling, as you mentioned, I've been selling real estate in the wonderful city by the bay, San Francisco, for over 25 years. And originally started off as a CPA, worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers, hated my life, and then decided that real estate was my passion. So I started selling real estate. And then about 10 years ago, I wrote a book called Massive Abundance. And as an offshoot from the book, started coaching listing agents and how to become better listing agents, how to 10x your listings. And so I developed this coaching program called the Agent Unleashed Collective. The Collective is a group of agents around the country that we do coaching. It's more of like a mastermind group and an accountability group, and have a lot of fun doing it.
Cool. And well, you said something. You went from being in the most introverted job in the world of being a CPA, which makes me like, I can't even think about numbers, to going into real estate. What the hell happened? How does that mindset even like switch gears?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Nobody's ever asked me that, Mike. Aside from the fact that I'm just a gregarious kind of guy, I was just dying, man. I was dying as a CPA. Because, it's just a lot of pencil pushing, a lot of numbers and spreadsheets and stuff like that. So I wanted to get out there in the public. But I always went to open houses and really got into real estate. I always invested in real estate. I always liked real estate. And I thought, what the heck, after 11 years as a CPA, I decided to just work my passion, which is real estate. And that's a good friend of mine got me started as a real estate agent.
Cool. That's interesting. We don't see that too often, but I love it.
Yeah,
well, talk to me about this. You're known for this brain hacks and these hardcore sales skills. So you're focused more on listings, at least in what you teach your students and whatnot. Is that right?
Yes.
So, and I agree. I think listings are the key. They always have been. It took me 4 or 5, I think it was 3 years to get my first listing.
Wow.
I was 22. So like no one's going to trust me with their freaking $500,000 house. That was my sales price back then, but just like no one's going to trust me. So talk to me about, tell me listings, like where do you start? New agent specifically.
Well, I think, here's the key. I think that with anything, that if you want to be successful in life and if you want to be a successful listing agent, really where it all starts is with consistency. You have to be consistent in your daily activities. You have to develop routines that are going to get you the listings. And as a coach and working this mastermind group, the collective, I tell you that the biggest hurdle that I have to really overcome when trying to get other people to get listings is just for them to be really consistent in their daily activities. And, we all know where to get listings from. I try to come up with creative ways to find listings out there in the marketplace. But if you're not doing it on a consistent basis, that's really the key.
Makes sense. I mean, folks, we talk about this every week consistently, whether we're talking about doing videos consistently, like no business exists without consistency in it. So walk me through, like, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Like if I'm an agent, let's just say I've been in the business for a few years. What do I need to be doing, being consistent at? And if I wanted to focus specifically on listings, like where's your biggest source? Let's start with the sources of business that agents can or may want to keep their brand around. What's your top 3 or top 5, if you will?
Well, a couple of things. One is I think that the foundation of any real estate listing business has to be your sphere of influence. Okay, no surprise there. I'm sure you've heard this a million times. The thing that blows my mind, though, is that, people will go out there and they'll call expired listings, they'll call FSBOs, they will call, all kinds of things, but they won't call their sphere of influence. There are so many people that are just so scared to actually call the people that they know. They're not afraid to have somebody hang up on them and tell them to go to hell in when they're calling expireds, but they're afraid to actually call somebody that they actually know and love. And these are all people that love us, right? They're in our sphere of influence. And so that's the biggest challenge, and that has to be the foundation of any listing procurement program. Has got to be call you people that you know. And that's one of the things that I concentrate on. 80% of my business that I'm getting nowadays after 25 years is from my sphere of influence. And there's a really easy way that you can talk to people about real estate, because when you get on the phone, I always tell people, just say, hey, this is Chris Stafford with Compass Real Estate, blah, blah, blah. How you doing? Just wanted to catch up. And invariably it always turns to, real estate. They always, hey, how's the real estate market? And this is a great line that I use. I use this at dinner parties. I use this on the phone when I'm talking to my sphere of influence. And that is, I always say, you know what? The market in San Francisco is so crazy right now. We really need more listings. So if you even remotely know anybody that's thinking about selling their property, give me a call. And it's funny, Mike, I'll tell you, I just used that line about 2 months ago at a dinner party. There were like 10 of us at this one of my clients' house for dinner. And I was telling this guy who was visiting from out of town, and across the table, this woman says, oh, I know somebody, and got a 2-unit building listing sale, which was actually cool.
What's the listing price, San Fran?
Well, God, it really just depends on the size, but we're looking at anywhere from roughly around $1,500 a square foot.
All right. So folks, that's just having a conversation. You're exactly right. Like most of the content that we talk about on this show is focusing on your core audience, which is your SOI. And you're exactly right. Folks, why are you willing to go through hours and hours upon rejection, prospecting, annoying the living daylights out of people with these old school marketing methods that have gone, in my opinion, extinct? And I think they're annoying. I think they degrade our profession. All of these hardcore sales tactics that you wouldn't want done on yourself, but yet you're doing them to other people. The business is right in front of you.
Yep. Absolutely.
It's right freaking in front of you. Folks, 10 to 15% of your network is moving this year, and most don't even know it yet. 100% of them have a referral for you, and most don't even know that yet. Are they going to give it to you? I like what Chris is talking about here, because what he's actually going through a lot of the content I talk about is more passive referral generation, marketing, staying in front of them. But he's actually talking about being active and going out and initiating the conversation to get the referral to happen. Every single person you know has a listing for you. It's just a matter if they're going to give it to you or not.
Yep. I love that. And, the worst thing, as all of us real estate agents can attest to, there's nothing worse than going to a friend's house or to a past client's house and seeing a for sale sign, and that sign is from some other company.
Totally. And my post today on Instagram said, if you're not marketing your database, someone else is.
Exactly.
And nowadays, folks, it's more of like some other company is. Their name is Zillow, Sunday. Basically, every single person is fighting for the attention of your database, which is exactly why you shouldn't let that happen, because someone is out there penetrating that. There was a stat that came out the other day, Chris. One of my friends posted it, and he's like, there's only 13% of clients use the same agent, again, for their next purchase and sale. However, at the time of survey, I think it was within 6 months of the transaction, it was like 74% of people said they would use the same agent again. They're happy with the agent. They would use the agent, but they forget what your freaking name is.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that I'm always telling, my clients is that if you have a listing and you make a sale, make sure that you're staying in touch not only with the seller, but that buyer that was brought in by another agent that just bought your listing, get their contact information as well too, because like you said, 90% of the time, those agents, their buyer's agent is not going to stay in touch with them. I stay in touch with them. I make them my clients. I give them a call and say, hey, listen, do you need referrals? Do you need any help? Blah, blah, blah. I can't tell you how many listings that I've received over the years from working other agents' clients because they don't remember what their agent's name is, like you said.
You cannot, like that. This is the thing that drives me nuts. What does drive me nuts? I mean, it's an opportunity, but it's frustrating because, you know, I also help a lot of agents and I work with them just on staying in front of their sphere. And it's crazy on how hard it is to get someone to put together an email list of their, just clean it up. Just give me an email list to your database. But yeah, it's like this little email list, like I cannot tell you how many times in my career that the little things that I was consistent with led to the next big deal. Let me give you an example. Yes. How many times have you guys, if you're sitting on your treadmill right now, think about the last big deal you got and think about it was always happened because you did one other thing that if you didn't do, it would have never happened. Mm-hmm. So I can't tell you how many times I stayed at the bar and had one more drink and then all of a sudden someone walked on up and all of a sudden I had a $700,000 listing. Mm-hmm. What if I didn't have that one more drink?
Right.
And you got to be, I forget who used to say it, was it Craig Forte or one of the old school gurus used to say, you have to be brilliant at the basics. Yep. I love that he said that. You have to be brilliant at basics. This is just belly to belly.
Yep.
Everyone's trying to crack the next Facebook ad funnel. And I'm like, dude, what are you trying to do? Just stay right in front of your database. That's where it's at.
Well, you know, that's a good point too, Mike, because I think that, you know, I love that term belly to belly, because, you know, you mentioned earlier that just the hardcore real, you know, in your face, calling expireds, hardcore sales, you know, that's not working anymore. You know, that used to be in the day, and now it's all about belly to belly marketing. It's getting in front of people. Relationship marketing is another way to say it, but getting in front of people, and these are people you know. Find the people that you know, find more people. If you don't have a big sphere of influence, make a sphere of influence. One of the things I do, which is a real easy way to do this, find service professionals that are in your town, in your city, you know, CPAs, investment advisors, loan agents, you know, insurance people. Just call them out of the blue, get them out of the phone book, get them off the internet, call them out of the blue and say, hey, listen, this is Chris Stafford with XYZ Real Estate. I've heard great work, great stuff about your work. Do you mind if I stay in touch with you for referrals? I've done this for so long, you can dramatically increase the size of your SOI. And I will guarantee you, if you do this, they will always say yes. They may try to get you off the phone, but they're not going to say no. And you know what? I've gotten so many referrals too, Mike, from just increasing my sphere of influence by adding these service professionals, staying in touch with them, calling them 3 or 4 times a year. And the ones that really like you and the ones that you really click with, take them out to lunch, you know, take them out to coffee, whatever it is. But again, it's all, the more people that you can get in front of, that belly to belly concept, man, I love that.
So well, I think it's just a change in mindset. You know, like the failure rate in our industry is so high. It's like 90%, 87% at realtors. And I think it's because a lot of them go through the gauntlet of all of these 1970s Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross type of prospecting systems that just don't fucking work anymore. I mean, that's just the bottom line. This is really, you're right. It's become an emotional transaction, and people do business with more so than ever with people they know, like, and trust. But I want you guys to change your mindset, right? Like, because the gurus always say this as well. They always say, well, if you, you know, if you make 100 calls, you're just one more no away from your next yes.
Oh my God,
and you're just like, come on, someone shoot me, right? Now, this is the same logic, because let's do the math, folks. This isn't theoretical. This is factual. This is mathematical. Let's talk numbers. All right. If 10 to 15% of the population moves each and every year, that means 1 in 10, 1 in 15 people you're going to come across and have a conversation with, they're fucking moving, whether they admit it or not. And most don't even know it. They're probably getting a divorce and they don't even know their husband's cheating on them yet. That's the truth. Life happens. People might get sick. Things happen and people don't know. They might get relocated, job transfer. Who freaking knows? But at the same time, switch your mindset to going, hey, every single person I may talk to right now has a referral for me. So that line that Chris just, if you don't mind repeating again, that Chris just shared with us, is exactly how to have that conversation. Because you're right. Now you're saying this, I'm trying to go back and see like some of the conversations I had. I was like, yo, bro, so where do you live? Not that I actually gave a fuck, but the fact that they would ask me where I live, and it gave me an opportunity to start talking about real estate, period.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And the line again is, if you're in a room full of people, it's basically just says the market in San Francisco, my city, the market in my city is so crazy right now. We need more listings for sale. So if you know any at all, I think that is a really cool, non-douchey kind of way to bring up real estate and not make a big deal about it.
Because the given question is always like, how at first it goes, this is what I do with everybody virtually. I think about it. So I'm always trying to meet and greet like new dads, because my kids at this new school. So I'm always trying to pry around and be like, we do business with this guy, I wonder what this guy does, right? So I'm always like, what do you do? It's the first question I ask everyone. So what do you do for a living, man? Like, I'm really interested. Like I lean in and I listen to hear what they say, because I know they're going to ask me, what do you do?
Yeah, exactly.
And then the question can just be like, well, actually, I'm a little stressed out right now because I don't have enough freaking listings. Like I need listings. Like, you know anyone? That's a very nonchalant, natural way to say it. I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As part of the collective, this coaching program, we interview top producing real estate agents. And just last week we were on a call, and in front of my coaching clients, I interviewed Gary Gold. Gary Gold, as you probably know, is one of the top agents in Beverly Hills, California. And he has the Chartwell mansion listed for sale, $200 million. Most expensive house currently listed for sale in the United States.
I think I saw that on the news, actually.
Yeah. And so I was interviewing him, and we just had the greatest talk. And I'll tell you, Mike, you know what he said? He said the key for him getting those listings is exactly what you just said, Mike. He said, everywhere I go, I talk to people. And I asked them that. They always ask me the question. I asked them, what are you doing for a living? What did you do for a living? What are you doing for a living? He just talks to people every single place. And that's really the key. But I do want to go back to one thing, Mike, that I think is really important, I think from a brain hack standpoint, and that is that you really have to be on your game to get people to call their sphere of influence. So if you're feeling like crap, or you're not on your game, and that's really the key, you're not going to call people. And so the key really is from a brain hack standpoint, is do whatever you can to feel your top, to feel your best. And I don't know if that's just not drinking. I start my day every single day with meditation, with working out, eating a healthy breakfast, because the way you start your day is really going to govern the rest of your day. So from a brain hack standpoint, you've got to start your day correctly. But whatever it is, for you, if it's not meditation, if it's praying, or if it's working out, whatever it is that's going to get you in that top physical, because the physical is going to get you into the mental. And when you're in the top of your game, that is when you're going to make those calls. If I'm hungover because I had too many drinks last night, I'm not going to wake up in the morning feeling like calling, 10 people on my SOI.
Right.
So it's
maybe
really
the night
important.
before you
might,
or if you're going to get drunk, at least get drunk right before the call hour, and then start making those. Then you can start making those calls.
There you go. Another strategy. I love that.
Can I? Let me ask you this. You're focusing like all on SOI, which I didn't even expect to have on this conversation. I loved. It's always the main core that we go off of here. But
it's not just SOI,
but yeah, talk to me about like SOI is the main thing. But are you doing anything with any of the students or coaching? Like, do you guys focus on prospecting or a traditional like lead gen type program? And then what is your advice? I'm curious to get your take on that. Because people are like, it's like a squirrel, right? I don't see anyone ever master the lead gen. First, I see no one master the database stuff. Barely any. Yeah, the ones who do, and you guys know this, look in your own markets. There's an agent that you despise in your market, and every single day you fucking look at him. You're like, how the fuck does this guy sell more than me? Well, he just has more friends, or he has a better way of connecting with them. That's the truth.
Yep, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. SOI is the key. Like I said, it's got to be the foundation, of any prospecting that you're doing. But yeah, absolutely. You can't just call your SOI. You have to branch out. What I do with my group is, it's based on what your personal preference is. I like to try to get people to do 3 types of prospecting. So SOI is one of them. Pick 2 other ways. Pick 2 other prospecting methods that you really enjoy doing. Some people like to do expired calls. Some people like to do FSBOs. Some people like to do, one of my favorite things to do right now that I do personally is, which is so easy right now, is to find probate attorneys. it's really easy for anybody to go down to their local courthouse, and a lot of this stuff is online nowadays. Find probates. Probates, in case you don't know, are people that are died. And people that are dying typically have real estate. Not always, but you can find the probates that have real estate. And it's very easy on an online basis in major cities. And if you can't, just go down to the courthouse and get the information. Who are the heirs and who is the probate attorney? And one of the things that I do is then I send out mailings. I send out packages to those. I contact those probate attorneys. They're always really friendly and helpful. They'll tell you if their family is going to keep the real estate or not keep the real estate. And that's a great way to not only find out about probates and try to get listings from them, which I've gotten many listings through the years doing probates, but all these probate attorneys add them into your SOI and stay in touch with them and call them 3-4 times a year.
That's the key. I want to rewind something you said. This is really, really important. As you have your SOI prospecting system, whatever the hell it is, it's a way to stay in touch, whether you're calling, sending direct mail, emails, whatever you're doing it consistently. If you don't have the infrastructure of that set up first, I don't believe you should ever start prospecting. And even if you don't have a database, because even though the relationships you meet on the prospecting aspects will get filtered into that SOI touch system. Correct. And people go the other way around. So what happens is like, everyone's trying to crack the Facebook code. Well, let me crack it for you right now. 6 to 9 months on average. And the reason why most agents aren't converting off of Facebook is because they don't have a 6 to 9 month pipeline or a way to stay in touch with someone after they made initial conversation, after they made initial contact. You still have to nurture that database in a human way.
Yes.
All the way up until they're ready to get in the car.
Mm-hmm. I totally get it, man. That makes perfect sense to me, because you've got to stay in touch, because like you said earlier, you just don't know when things are going to change. You don't know when that wife's going to find out that her husband's cheating, or, somebody's going to die, or somebody's going to outgrow their house, or whatever it is. So you absolutely have to stay in touch with these belly to belly, man.
He also said something interesting too. And this is, and you guys, this is what you're going to see come down. Every lead portal is going towards a referral model. They're all like mega teams right now. You can pretty much put them that way.
Yes.
Realtor.com is going the same way. Zillow's going the same way, which means you're not going to be able to buy leads online. And I feel like that's been a easy substitute for people in the last decade. And it's really ruined our overall work, to the fact where most people don't know where to get leads now.
Yep.
So niche down, probate, divorce, foreclosure, short sale, absentee owners, but do one thing at a time. Until you master that one niche, you should never go on to your second. The SOI is always churning, but you only should turn a positive ROI first on one lead generating activity at a time, and don't move on to step 2 until you do it. You're right. It has to be something that you're passionate about.
Yeah. And like,
if you're not, it's not going to work.
Absolutely. And that's what I tell my coaching clients. It's sort of like, what is it? They always ask, what's the best prospecting method? That's what everybody asks me. What's the best prospect? And I tell them that the best prospecting method is the one that you're going to do consistently. And so some people are really into probate. Some people are into expireds. Whatever it is that you're going to do consistently, really be passionate about it, to use your word, and do it one at a time, but do it, and do it on a consistent basis. I'm every single morning between 8:30 in the morning and 10:30. 10 to 10:30. Sometimes I start early, but I try to at least get, no matter what's happening in my life. I travel a lot. I even prospect, from traveling. I have a condo in Panama. I call from there. I try to get in 2 hours every single morning, and 80% of that time is generally working my SOI.
Yep. Tell me about so you have a mastermind of agents around the country and whatnot.
That's correct.
Collectively, where's their largest source of business? Is it also coming from SOI?
It's also coming from SOI, but collectively, I can't really make any assumptions, or I can't really, because everybody just does what they really like to do. So I don't tell somebody, other than your SOI, I wouldn't tell a coaching client to do this or do that. Again, I always ask them, what do you think that you could do consistently? What do you think you're going to enjoy doing the most? I've got people that are door knocking, and they're killing it down in Santa Barbara, killing it in door knocking. I personally can't stand door knocking. I'd rather get on the phone and talk to probates. But again, it's whatever that you're going to do on a consistent basis. That's the key.
Very well put. That makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I don't know. Do you have any other final tips here you want to add? I think we I think you simplified. You just got to talk to people, man. Sorry.
Just talk to people. Yeah.
If you don't want to do that, it's time to find a new career.
And take care of yourself too, man. This is the whole thing. Because if you don't have
True.
your health and you don't have your physical health and your mental health, you're not going to do this business well. You're not going to get listings, and you're dead in the water. So,
Yep.
absolutely.
And you will burn out.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're not human.
There you go.
It's just part of the business. Christopher, go ahead and give our listeners a little bit how they can reach you. Go ahead and plug your stuff, and we'll get this thing wrapped up.
Yeah, that sounds great, Mike. So, anyways, anybody wants to reach me, you can go to theagentunleashed.com. That's theagentunleashed.com. Shoot me an email. I'd love to hear from you. I answer all my own emails. And I also wrote a book called Massive Abundance, How to Create Passion, Purpose, and Prosperity in Your Life. And if you shoot me an email, I'll send you the book for free.
Cool. Thank you very much, man. It was interesting. Didn't expect us to go down the SOI trap. But, folks, every single guest we have on here leads back into the top thing. And we're not bringing a bunch of zeros, a bunch of losers on here. We're bringing successful people. And there's one thing that's in common. It's this thing that we talk about on the show each and every fucking day. It is about building a brand, staying in front of your audience, your largest source of business, and becoming unforgettable, but do it in a way that comes from value and contribution. That's how you build a brand, consistently communicating with the same audience over time. And if you want help with doing that on video, please go ahead and visit our website. This is what we do. We'll come up with your brand strategy. We'll come up with your video strategy. I'll show you a very simple way to film them, and then we'll handle all the editing and distribution on the back end and make you and your team unforgettable. So thank you for listening to another episode of the Real Estate Marketing Dude podcast. Go ahead and contact us and follow us on social, The Real Estate Marketing Dude. And we'll see you on the next week's episode. Thanks a lot, man. It's an awesome show. I appreciate your time, and we will talk again soon.